All right, so this is the $200 Canon M6 Mark I. Believe it or not, I actually did not pick this up from Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, but or even eBay. I actually found it on Adorama. I'm usually on there looking at used gear anyway, and when I came across it, frankly, I thought it was a phenomenal value. It was hard to kind of pass up, only because I've owned the M3 at one time, and to me this is an improvement over the M3 with a a little bit better processor, definitely better autofocus. So once again, couldn't pass it up. There was like maybe one defect on the outside where by the grip it's actually pilling a little bit, but that was really good. If you're not familiar with this camera, it came out in 2017. It was actually competition for the A6000, which I actually just picked up one of those for a little bit more expensive than this camera. Brand new, the M6 was about $799 body only. Like I said, I got this one for right at $209 body only. And then I picked up the Canon EFM mount 22mm f2 lens, only because I actually owned that lens at one time when I had my M3, and I really enjoy the lens. So needless to say, I'm filming right now using the Canon M3, or excuse me, M6. Gotta stop saying that. And I'm running my Rode wireless mic through the preamp outputs. The great thing about this camera, at least over my last camera that I filmed, which was the A5100, is this camera is slightly larger, but the larger body gets you preamp outputs. It has the flip up screen, of course, like the 5100. Does not record in 4K. It was, like I said, made in 2017, so you only get 1080p up to 60 frames. And generally I record in 24 or 25, so it's fine for me. But this is what the image looks like. I did make a couple of changes. I actually tweaked the standard profile just a tad. I wanted to bump down some of the contrast, and so I did that. And then let me see what else I did. I changed some of the saturation as well, bumped that down. But that was really about it. I just wanted to see what it looked like straight out of the camera. I actually reset everything also, and then changed those settings. And then as far as my white balance right now, I had it set to auto white balance, but I'm actually filming downstairs in like our main living room area. So this is not optimal lighting. I had to play around, and I think I ended up just setting the Kelvin to like 5200, and then I've got the windows covered up with some diffusers. So hopefully it's not too overexposed. But yeah, it just seems like it looks fine right now on the small screen. Granted, I will review it just to see what it looks like. But yeah, I just figured I'd put this up because, once again, wasn't expecting to find this value. Glad that I did. It's a great camera. When it came out, like I said, it had stiff competition because it was competing against the A6000, which, by the way, the A6000 was cheaper. It was, for the body only, it was about $599 versus this camera, which was $799 for the body. But when I bought my A6000 here recently for the little one, I paid $300 for that camera with the kit lens, and this one was $200 without the kit lens. If I'd have got the kit lens off of Adorama, I could have picked it up for like 45 more bucks. But there was no purpose for doing that, only because I knew I wanted the 22mm. So just, yeah, this is what it looks like. This is what the footage looks like. I'll probably be using it a little bit more often. I may even just use it to replace the A5100 in studio, because once again, as far as functionality, they are very simple to use. Flip up screen makes it a whole lot easier. And then, it has a lot of the same options as my other camera. It does have a 24 megapixel sensor, and it is APS-C, very similar to the Sony. There is one slight difference. The crop factor for this camera, unlike the Sony, is 1.6 versus the Sony's 1.5. It's very minuscule, so me personally, it's not really a big difference considering the prime lenses that I use. But yeah, that's really about it. So if you got any questions about the M6 or about the Canon 22mm f2, which once again I've already owned, this pancake lens, feel free to leave them down below in the comments. And just one more note, this camera actually has, of course, the hot shoe on top. In order for me to mount my wireless go, I actually used the bracket. They have an offset bracket for the Canon M6 Mark II that actually works on this camera. It just has a little more of a gap. And I think I was a YouTuber that actually said that it was actually his idea. But yeah, you know, so I bought that. It's like 18 bucks or 19 bucks. And yeah, now it sets the mic off to the side, out of the way. I can still access everything and it doesn't block the flip screen. So just one thing to note. But like I said, all in, 200 bucks for the camera. Can't beat it. The lens I picked up for about 150. I will say that right now camera prices are kind of all over the place. Even though the Canon, the body was a good price, the M6, I think the lens was a little bit higher than when I first purchased it, probably about 5 years ago. I believe that back when I bought it, I probably paid about $119 for it. But once again, prices being as they are, you have to just dig a little bit more to be able to find the value. But the M6 is testament to the fact that it can be done as long as you take your time, as well as the 5100 and the 6000 that I just bought as well. If you got any questions, once again, leave them down below. Click like, subscribe, and Agent Fit signing out.